spectrum of people that come into flying. It's everybody. You could say it's butchers, bakers, candlestick makers, everybody. It goes right across the spectrum. What happens is a lot of people suddenly decide they want to come flying. People get their first introduction to it, in many cases, from buying air experience flights. They come along, and 99% of these people will love the experience.
I loved it.
Really good.
It felt so free and just like out in the open. It didn't really seem like you were like kind of...
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Everybody should try it.
Definitely.
So why isn't the sky full of people? Well, the main reason is normally cost. You're not going to see a lot of change out of about £9,000 to finish a private pilot's licence course. However, you need a form of commitment as well.
The most difficult thing people find is the money. Flying's by no means a cheap thing to do, so it's something you definitely want to save for. It's academically wise, the exams can be quite tough, so you'd really need to discipline yourself and make sure you study hard.
The course they're going to embark on is a 45-hour course, and there's 7 ground exams in it. The exams are not too difficult, the course isn't too difficult, but the exams on the ground and the flying training all run along concurrently, so that it all blends along in a very well structured programme. And we try and get people to do this, if they can, in a period of about a year. If you can afford to do it in 3 or 4 months, that's fine, and it'll probably get done quicker. If you can't, you're having to spread it out over once every couple of weeks, and you'll get the course done probably in about 2 years.
It's not as easy as people think. You've got quite a few licences to go before you can get a job as a commercial pilot. I've got the first licence on that step, which is the private pilot's licence. So that means you can take up friends and family, but you can't get paid to fly.
This is where now serious thinking has to come in. There is a mandatory medical requirement. It's called a Class 1 medical, and it is pretty strict. And once they've got through that, they will then have to build up their flying hours, assuming they've got, say, 40 or 50 hours for their private pilot's licence. They need to have started with over 150 hours, or approximately 150 hours, to go onto the commercial course, where they are then going to do the commercial pilot's much more difficult flying training. And it doesn't stop there. Before they can start on that, and having built their hours up, they've got to go away and do what is approximately 14 different exams in separate modules. These are ground exams, they're not flight exams. Having got those together, they're 150 hours, they're ground exams, they can then commence their commercial flight training.
I'd like to go into maybe travel and tourism, might become a pilot, but don't know yet.
We've got through the best part of probably £60,000 to get where we've got to at this stage. Unfortunately, this is probably the cheapest way that you are going to get qualified. There are other ways of doing it which may be more attractive to employers, and these are what are called the integrated routes. These are done at very specialist colleges, and at those, at the moment, you are not going to see any change out of less than probably £100,000, maybe more, and it will take you 2 years to come out of that system.
I've always been interested in aviation. I've always thought it's just so much fun flying. So I went to Virgin Atlantic on my last experience, and I thought finding out what goes on at a smaller airport would be much more like intimate.
Once the people have come out and they've got their commercial licences, where do they go from there? A major source of employment is to take up a course of instructing. You can get an instructor's rating, and then you can come back to somebody such as Sussex Flying Club, and we employ you as an instructor. The advantage now is that you are getting paid for building up your flying hours. We've said you need more flying hours. Once you've got the flying hours, you're current, you're being paid for it, you become more attractive to not just the airlines but the corporate jet operators, the air taxi operators. There's a whole load of aviation that goes on, and it's not just your holiday jet, Medivac flights, all sorts of things, medical flights like this that people don't actually think about, which operate all over the country all the time. So there is a broad spectrum which can be attractive to people, providing they're willing to go on and keep working. And the instructor route through the flying clubs and the flying training organisations is a very, very good way of doing it. It helps if you're younger. You really want to be in your 20s and sort of maybe sort of early 30s. If you can start in your late teens and your early 20s, that's giving you a lot more opportunity to build up hours and experience.
Go into your local flying clubs. That's how I started. See if you can find any part-time work. Even if you're working for free, you get in contact and meeting new people, and you're always learning things in aviation. It's definitely the best way to do it, and you never know what you might end up getting. I got a PPL out of it, so.
Aviation's an expanding industry. It's expanding at quite a rate. The recession that we're in now has affected every single industry, not least aviation. The demand for air transport is growing all over the world. It will continue to do so. Therefore, the demand for pilots will continue to grow. The demand for air taxi operations, holiday flights, and all will continue to grow. So there is a need and a requirement for a continuous replenishment of the pilots from new people coming into the business. Yes, it will expand. It will continue to expand. It's always done.
I'm still set on aviation. I love it completely. But what specifically yet, I don't know.